Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 93. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm alive.
Yay!
Not too bad for the most part. I should probably figure out what I'm doing for dinner at some point, but I'll get to that.
Wow, Seyrr, you sound amazing.
Yeah. I finally went ahead and found some of my old Amazon gift cards and got myself a proper microphone.
Huzzah.
So I'm no longer coming at you from my phone's earbuds, but rather like one of those fancy Blue Yeti ones with a pop filter as well.
Huzzah!
Yay.
I'm also getting used to the sound of my own voice. It's kind of great.
Don't worry, I took that off so I don't hear my voice.
Oh,
But then how are you supposed to get up to the moment feedback so that you can adjust how you're talking?
he doesn't. He makes me do it.
I do.
Damn it, Chille.
Also, we're in the basement of the free company house when you get a moment, Seyrr.
Oh, right. I got so wrapped up in writing up this stuff that I forgot to actually sign in.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Seyrr and I worked quite hard this afternoon to get this evening's show ready to go for you guys. So we hope you really enjoy it. So then why don't I? Actually,
I know, I was watching you type it earlier.
See me just go.
I snuck in. I was like, oh, I wonder what the notes are. Look, no, things are appearing. I shall leave now.
You didn't want to be spoiled.
Well, no, I just didn't want to be, interrupt anything.
Well, the nice thing about Google Docs is you can actually work multiple people in it at the same time.
So you could have been, contributing. Punk.
I could have.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Exactly. No, it's all good.
Ben said I went out for a walk and got a sandwich.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, the weather here is
You are
beautiful
now
as well.
obligated to tell us what sort of sandwich.
Well, I bought some cold chicken, so I made some chicken with cheese and lettuce salad, in a bun. It was nice.
I find it acceptable. You may proceed.
Because it was really nice weather here today. It's like 65 to 70 Fahrenheit. So
You know what? We actually beat you. It got up to the upper 70s here.
Mid
well,
80s
you gotta
around
remember
here.
that's hot for here because of the sea breeze.
Right.
That's hot for here too, but especially this time of year.
Okay,
mean, especially-
gentlemen, you both have perfectly adequate penis.
I was just gonna say, especially
Yay,
after the
I
fact
am
that last
adequately
week
penis.
at this time we had a foot of snow.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that. I want your foot snow.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. You don't understand how much I want your foot of snow.
Oh,
Wait,
my.
what?
and we're demonetized. Good night, folks.
Oh yeah, because
Bye
we're
for last
monetized in the first place.
That's true. Anyway, so what have you guys been up to since the last episode or since you were last on? Since Seyrr hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah, everything got really busy all at once. I barely had time for playing. Though I did manage to get on and finally hunt Rathalos.
Cool.
Yeah, I had never gotten to that before. It just been one of those things of like, I'll get to that eventually. And then eventually finally came. Other than that, lots of library stuff. Summer reading program is coming up, so everyone's gearing up for that. I have a new roommate who is actually cool and like talked more to me in the first night he was here than my previous roommate had in the entire time he lived here.
Wow.
By like an order of magnitude.
Damn.
Yeah, previous guy was a hermit who did not like interacting with anyone.
But hermits need places to live too.
Well, sure, but they should go with other people who are expressly not interested in interacting with anyone.
The problem with that though is that they then can't find those because they won't talk to them to get the room in the first place.
I mean, I get that. At the same time, I feel a little weird about sharing a living space with someone who decidedly does not even want to do the barest interaction, like, say, for instance, figuring out if the garbage has been taken.
Yeah.
Like, there's some bare minimums you need if you're going to be sharing a living.
Yeah.
And
Also, to learn how to make cake for people. That's also a great thing to do.
oh, yes. Like,
Just cake.
cake covers a variety of ills.
Cake is the best.
But
Oh,
yes,
I'm
new guy
sad
is
that
great.
my sorry for bringing this to me, but I had a little butcher's on my street. That's been closed down recently because not many people were using it, so they couldn't afford to keep it running.
Aw.
But now it's been replaced by a cake shop. And I
Ooh.
talked to the lady that's going to be owning it, and she's like, "Oh no, I can't guarantee any of my foods are safe." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, that's right, because suppose she
No
has
cake for
nut
Chille.
decorations too, huh?
yeah."
That's a
cake for
bummer.
Chille.
Well, you know what? Maybe if you put in a special order, she can make sure to
Yeah,
clean everything
but
off
that'd
ahead
be
of time.
expensive. Anyway, sorry, go back to you.
I mean, a lot of places will do that for you, though, if they really want your business.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else, Seyrr?
I feel like there must be, but I can't really think of anything right now.
Well, you went to a show.
Oh, so yeah, one of the ones I missed was because of I thought I told people about this, but like a friend of mine had got last minute Cirque du Soleil tickets and was offering one for free. And so I saw Cirque du Soleil, which was a thing I was not expecting to ever do, and that was really fun. I actually felt kind of bad for you guys, but then Klauss was like, "No, Seyrr, like that's an awesome thing. You should jump on this opportunity."
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
I was less so about your other reason, but I figured it was a social thing, and I was like, Seyrr needs this.
Yeah.
How was it, by the way?
It was really, really cool.
That's good.
There was a couple of them that were really entrancing. There was one person who was she was doing like a trapeze act sort of thing, an aerial act where she was suspended by her hair.
Yee.
That's cool.
Yeah,
And scary.
yeah, like the way that just the setup in that to make sure that the weight is the force is evenly distributed across her head must have in and of itself been a huge amount of work.
Well, I'm assuming that a lot of it had to do with the setup of the ponytail initially.
Yeah, I would imagine something like that.
She really likes to have her hair pulled.
Even then, you're suspending someone's weight by that.
Well, I'm assuming she was pretty small, though.
I don't know. I didn't ask. It seemed improper.
I wonder if there was extensions involved.
I mean, even then, it was still attached to the scalp eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, extensions would actually probably rip out. Anyway,
Yeah.
we don't need to discuss the
Anyways,
properties of hair. But I'm glad you had a great time. And
Wait, that's not what this podcast is about. Well, now I'm leaving. Bye.
Special lore segment: keratin in the creatures of Eorzea, from fur to horn.
How about you, Chille? What have you been up to since the last episode?
There we go, done.
That much?
No,
huh?
so yeah, all of the things. Yeah, all of the things. Not really much, to be honest. I mean, we did it a couple of weeks ago for the anime detour podcast special.
Yeah.
But apart from that, just been doing stuff on 14, doggo farming and all that stuff.
Yeah. How's that been going for you?
I have 4 of the doggos, so I'm getting there.
Hashtag Chille hacks.
Yeah, hashtag Chille hacks. So I don't even like the final dog, but it's just now that my raid, humble brag here, but now that my raid group is finished with this tier, we don't really have much to do as a group now, so we're doing doggos instead.
You can do Eureka.
Not everyone's at the same level. That's the problem with that, though.
Yeah,
some of them are max level, some of them aren't. So.
You could catch each other up with the challenge log bonuses.
That's true.
But we only raid for about an hour and a half, so
That's half of a thing in Eureka.
yeah.
Enough time for a
but no,
group to get through challenge log.
We're doing between doggos and A12S, and yeah, we're gonna do some A12S next Tuesday actually to help people get the mount from that.
I need to get all of those mounts.
Yeah. So that fight is actually, by the way, spoilers for anyone. If you want to do it easier, don't go with a full pie. Actually, go with 3 DPS instead of 4. I found that's actually easier than going with the 4 DPS.
Why is that?
Because you got the 3 DPS get debuff, and 1 person doesn't. So if you've got 4 DPS, the one that doesn't has to run to the north. But that way, if you only have 3 DPS instead of 4 DPS, all 3 DPS always get the same debuff.
And you're always guaranteed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar within Thoradin. Thoradin X, they've got the jump markers during that one phase. We had 3 DPS
You're supposed
at one point.
to
The same thing.
debuff, the one with no debuff is supposed to stack with someone, but because we've got so much health now that they don't really need the person to stack if you put shields.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's actually I found it easier with 3 DPS instead of 4.
Makes sense. And you're doing enough damage anyway; it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of. I've been doing some burb farming actually with Crossworld Link shell that I'm in now. It's Brock's shell from Excalibur. We've been doing a lot of stuff in that, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been streaming it here as well on twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio.
Nice.
Got my Thoradin burb, and we got a lot of people other burbs. And we're working on Sephiroth now, and we're going to try and go through all of them and get everybody all the burbs so we can all get Firebirds, and then we're going to go doggo farming, and maybe even Alexander Savage mount farming.
Nice.
Stuff to do.
I said A12S is really easy now, and A4S is a joke anyway.
And like I said, I was telling Chille earlier before that we started the show, I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't run through 09S just to get a ring. To get everything at eye level 400. I mean, it's the only thing that's not right now, so.
Well, if I can help you, I'll just say, and I don't mind running it with you.
No problem. Aside from that, just been playing a lot and working a lot and just having fun, though. Trying to enjoy. We had a shit ton of snow last week, which kind of sucked, but this week has been beautiful, so can't complain there. I just want to throw out a quick reminder to everybody that we are trying to hit 50 sub points here on Twitch by the end of May, possibly. And if we want to do that so we can unlock all the emotes for everybody, so we can have maximum emote slots so you can use those and have them here. So if you subscribe to us here on Twitch in the months of April or May, we've got a special thing going where we're going to send you a bumper sticker as a thank you for being so awesome. And if we hit our goal by 50 points by the end of the month, we're going to start doing some special giveaways as a huge thank you to everybody who helped us out. So if you have, and just like Real Chille there.
Not just like that. That's how you sub. That stupid twat Chille did it. But that's how you do it.
But no, it's very helpful to us. We do really sincerely appreciate it. And we'll make sure to thank you properly for that. We're not doing it to make money, but by all means, like I said, we want to try and get more emotes for you guys. We currently have 4, and we can unlock 3 more slots for the tier 1. So help us hit our goals. We love you. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account and get a free Twitch Prime sub every month. Just make sure that you
remember
reuse
if you I don't know if it's still going on, but for a while, if you had Twitch Prime and you subscribed to... Well, if you had Amazon Prime and you got Twitch Prime, you could get a year's worth of Nintendo Online for free.
Yep, if you have a Switch. Also, you can still get the starter edition of Final Fantasy XIV with 30 days of subscription for free, too. I have a code to give away if you have anybody who needs it for Windows.
I thought it ended.
No, it's till May. So I got like 2 weeks to give it away yet. 3 weeks.
Well,
whatever.
you can at least get the code, and I don't think the code... I don't think the code expires.
I'll have to double check that. So yeah, I'll have to pull my code out so I can get that taken care of. Another really cool thing that's going on now is for those of you who remember last year, a group out on Balmung decided to try and raise some money by RPing Blitzball. Well, it's back this year, guys, and we are helping out again. The Menphina Madness Blitzball Tournament is back again this year, and we are going to once again be sponsoring the Kugane Crushers.
Yeah, let's show.
Yes, yes.
Go see Chocopos!
Nah, they suck. Moogle Go Around is sponsoring the Sea Chocobos, so.
Yeah, see Chocopos.
So, are there Blitzball hooligans?
There can be.
Excellent.
What I just posted there is that is the poster and artwork for the Kugane Crushers artwork, and it is absolutely amazing. When I first saw it today, I was like, wow, the artist did an amazing job. Not only is our mascot Jim, but our colors are gold and rainbow.
I'm sure I don't know what's being implied. Lashoy!
No, I thought it was amazing. I mean, because the fact that of how much rainbow we use in Phoenix Down Radio.
It's true.
But
Like, a lot of attention was given to that.
I'm not sure if that was actually part of it, but if it was, thank you. I think the rainbow if you click on the link that I posted there, it goes out to the Golden Glory Tumblr page, and it gives you a little bit of a story as to what the Kugane team is like. It's basically open to lots of different peoples and races. So,
yeah, this is something where like the role players really put a lot of time and effort into it, and a lot of polish.
Yes,
a lot of this looks like professional level stuff, and it's always really impressive.
And the nice thing this year, we're supporting to write love on her arms. TWLOHA.com. They are a nonprofit organization dedicated to presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, and suicide. I'm going to post a link here again. Oh, thanks, Chille. You beat me to it. TWLOHA exists to encourage, inform, inspire, and also to invest directly into treatment and recovery. There will be more information announced in the coming days, but our friend Dylan Thorne on her Tumblr page has a lot of information about what's going to be happening here. Damn it, Chille, you're beating me.
Because I'm right-clicking instead of scrolling.
Anyway, so then you're going to copy this last one for us too. If you want to support, pledge your support for the Crushers or any of the 8 teams. There's a document that they put out that you can put your support down for and put your information down. No financial info is taken from this, so it's just to get notified as to when you know who's interested in supporting what team, and then they'll be in contact with you about setting all that up, sending you the links to actually doing the support. We've got some really cool things coming up with it. So,
and I'm given that we are going to have the world visit. Actually, is the world visit system supposed to be working by then? I forget if we have an exact date on it. Okay, so yes, assuming there are no issues with that, I think this event is going to be a lot more fun with people being able to attend much more easily, being able to visit to the other world, not having to worry
remember,
about.
you can't visit a world that is congested, so
it's possible we may not be able to get onto Balmung, but they're going to be on Crystal. So, I mean, if you have a character over there, you can potentially try to do a visit during the matches.
Yeah. And for future events, you could always see about hosting them on various servers to make the world visit a little more feasible.
Yep.
Heck, they could go from Balmung to another Crystal World, couldn't they?
They definitely could. They could go to, if they wanted to put it out on Diabolos or Brynhildr or any of the other worlds available, maybe.
So that's how you say that word.
Yes.
Yep. I was trying to say earlier because my mates were asking about the servers. I'm like, Brahanda, Brahindle. Like, what is this word?
So yeah, the organizers have done an amazing job this year and improved a lot of things over last year. They're hoping to triple their what they raised last year. They raised over $1,000 last year, and they're hoping to get to about $3,000 this year. So, figure out if you're able to support TWLOHA and
go see Chocobos.
And we would really appreciate that. So. Thank you very much, guys.
Go Koban Crushers!
We
will smite you under the might of our well.
Yes. And rainbows.
Come on.
Washoy! Oh man, I definitely have to find a way to show up with the Mikoshi.
Anyway.
Well, at least if you can do all the beast traps, at least you'll be able to turn up with the headpiece on.
Yeah, don't forget the ability to scatter that gold.
Just remember, you'll have to be able to do this on your character on Crystal.
Shit. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Wasoy! See Chocobos.
Final Fantasy VII Symphonic Reunion Concert has been scheduled for June 9th, which is shortly before E3 at the Dolby Theater in LA. Tickets went on sale today, and all of the cheap $77 tickets were sold out within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But there are other seats available. So if you want, you can potentially still get seats to go see it if you want to go see some amazing Final Fantasy VII music played live.
I'm going to call that they're going to announce the remake stuff there.
Actually, that's what I was going to get into, why I said that it's shortly before E3. 2 years ago, they did a Kingdom Hearts concert that was just before E3, and they actually played a trailer and had some more information coming from that. So there's a very high possibility that we're going to see something similar.
Especially with Sony not doing E3 this year.
Yep. And I posted
Yeah, I still don't know why they made that decision.
Well, there's no point doing E3 this year. They're focusing on the PS5 in 2020, so chances are everything that's already been announced has already been announced, so they won't have much to be at E3.
And they have enough presence with their third-party people there that they're going to be well represented.
Yeah.
And the link I posted there goes to the shop where you can buy tickets if there are any.
Because I don't know if you guys read the interview with Mark Cerny about the PS5.
No.
He had an interview with Wired.com about the new console, and some of the specs are crazy.
You mean it wasn't with PSU.com?
Oh no, it was with Wired.com. They confirmed that the PS5 will be supporting ray tracing. And 3D audio.
So it's NVIDIA?
No, they're going with AMD.
So it's not necessarily ray tracing, but it'll be a type of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not RTX, but a different type of ray tracing.
Yeah.
So basically, we're confirming that the new AMD graphics chips are going to have ray tracing capabilities.
Yeah, and they've going with the Zen 2 cores for the CPU. So, it's going to be quite a beefy console.
I'm surprised they're not going with the upcoming Zen 3s.
It's probably timing.
They maybe are working on actually producing them right now.
And you got to remember the cost. The Zen 3 will cost so much. They can't have too much of a... They've got to have a limit on how much the console will be worth, so...
It's still going to be a $400 console.
Yeah, but if they're going to throw in a Zen 3, plus they plan to have SSDs in it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they've said that they've got a custom solution for the hard drive, where they actually showed off Spider-Man on the PS4, and then showed it off on the PS5 because they also confirmed backwards compatibility. And the fast travel went from 15 seconds to 0.8.
Just because of the way that they're handling storage now.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be user upgraded or user upgradable?
Well, I don't know. We just know that stuff from the Wired article, so we'll know more hopefully end of the year.
So it'll probably have some sort of custom Navi graphics chipset, and then use it as Zen 2 and then SSD. That's pretty beefy. Here's the question: did he mention anything about Blu-ray still?
Yeah, because it has physical support. Yeah, they've said that it supports physical media. Because
they just announced that Xbox, they're going to have a discless or a CD-ROM-less version.
Yes, I like to call it the Xbox SAD.
Anyway,
it's called the Xbox All Digital. Xbox SAD.
Yeah, no, I know.
But the funny part about the Xbox S All Digital is, sorry for going so off topic. It actually has space on the chip and inside the thing for the disk drive.
They just took it out.
Yeah, it even has the eject button underneath the casing.
So you could mod it and put one in.
Yeah.
It would cost more than buying with one in it, but...
Well, it costs more than buying one with it anyway.
So it must have a larger hard drive?
No.
So why would you buy this thing?
I don't know. It has more games with it for free.
Oh, it comes with games.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, speaking of Xbox SAD, I mean Xbox One, Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD are now finally available on the Switch and the Xbox One. So you can go play those games there for the first time. Or again.
Oh, so Square Enix stopped contacting me about that.
They stopped?
Every time I look at my emails, I keep getting, Did you know that Xbox One and Switch again, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 remake coming soon? Or another one of the favorites is, you won't believe what's inside this email. Click. Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 are coming to Xbox One and Switch.
They really want to make sure you know about that.
I have it on Vita and PS4. I don't need it again.
And PS2?
Yeah, and PS. In fact, I found my demo disc from when I bought Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, I saw that. And 7. And 8.
Yeah. Yeah, 7 had a demo of 8 and 6 had a demo of 10.
Which is weird because 6 was a PlayStation game.
Well, yeah, it didn't come out here till 2002 though.
But it was still wasn't it? So it was a PlayStation game with a PlayStation 2 disc in it?
Yeah, it had a PS2 demo disc with it.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the PS2s were backwards compatible, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
They were, so yeah.
And the PS2 was already out by the time we got 6, so.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that actually the first game that I bought for my PS2 was a PlayStation game. It was Final Fantasy 9.
Oh, good game. Good choice.
Now this isn't,
You do well.
Now this isn't actually a Final Fantasy game, but it's another Square Enix RPG title. They announced that Octopath Traveler is set to have a Steam release on June 7th.
Ooh. I'm glad more people are going to get to play that game.
I'm actually very happy for that. I'm tempted to pick it up.
Do it.
Just
buy it.
I haven't seen what the price is going to be on it, but they also put in they released an announcement trailer for it as well. I'm going to link that so you guys can take a look at that if you want. It looks very interesting. So I know I couldn't afford to buy a Switch just to get this, but the fact that now it's coming on PC, I'm very tempted. Very tempted.
Yeah, you should play it. It's a good game. Can recommend.
I can also I haven't played it, but I can also recommend.
All right, and we were kind of alluding to it a little earlier. The NA Data Center expansion and the addition of the World Visit Service will be starting off with a 24-hour maintenance for all NA worlds starting on Monday, April 22nd at 3 a.m. Pacific time. Now, this is a 24-hour maintenance, so it's going to be 3 a.m. on Monday to 3 a.m. on Tuesday. They said if the maintenance goes beyond 24 hours, that all players will be compensated with a free day added to their subscription. But Chille, you had said that they gave that free day to everybody on EU, even though they
they gave it to everyone. So
we might get a free day, but I remember seeing something that if it was extended beyond the initial 24 hours,
that was the original story for EU as well. They said, if it's extended beyond, and then they're just like, here you go anyway.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But there will be all worlds maintenance starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So
yeah, just like what they did for EU, because we had some maintenance to help with the EU stuff.
And they have to be able to turn on World Visit for all the data centers.
Yeah.
That's why it's a little bit of a longer maintenance window as well. I mean, that's a 9-hour maintenance. And also, there is currently a free login campaign. Don't start it right now. Please, whatever you do, do not start the free login campaign now. Wait until after the maintenance, please.
In fact, no, I'd say wait until after the maintenance. I'm going to say there'll be some server issues when the servers go live.
Yeah, there were over on EU.
Yeah.
There were a lot of
so
issues
wait until
with Chaos and Light.
Well, I've heard that they've...
Give it a few days or something for the new bugs that they did predict to shake. I'm guessing they'll have some idea of what to expect from the other data center, which means that now there's going to be a new set of problems.
Probably. But I mean,
not just that, but now we're going to have the World Visit added. So
yeah, so that's the new set of problems we're going to have.
Yay.
But I'm assuming that's why they did it on EU first, because one, it impacted less worlds, and two, it was a way for them to shake out any of the bugs that might come with it.
Well, EU doesn't have World Visit yet.
No, I'm talking about the data center portion of it.
Data center, yeah. Which, by the way, if you've watched Frosty TV stream, supposedly it's made the EU community really upset because there's so little people actually doing the content now on Party Finder. Even at like 7 to 8 o'clock at night on an Easter Saturday, there's probably only about 3 different Party Finders up.
Yeah, because there's only I mean, I suppose there's only 6 worlds on each server now,
Yeah.
or is it 8? No, it's 6. It's 6.
Yeah, 6. So yeah, they're having problems with like Party Finder because there's not enough people actually doing it now. Because
That's
it's
sad.
the already small community, which is split up as well to even smaller communities because of the fact that there's so many languages in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that we might get hit with something like that a little bit too, because we're
Yeah.
going from having 11 and 13 worlds down to 8.
Yeah,
So
but we don't have the language barrier on top of that.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Have
Is
you
that-
listened to some people try and understand what Southern person is saying? Sorry.
Please, like facial expression. Wish you could see it right now.
You're not the only one.
Significant side eye, Klauss.
I literally sighed into the mic. I'm gonna do it again.
Aurori laughed, and that's all
One
that matters.
second.
That's because Aurori is a supportive trooper who's always behind. That doesn't
It
mean you're
sounded
wrong.
to me
It was probably an
face-
awkward laugh. It was like, why did you do that, Klaus? Anyway.
But yeah, we'll find out.
But anyway, what's nice about this particular free login campaign is it's not just a 4-day one. They're giving you up to 7 days for free.
Yeah.
So it's
Remember,
actually
as
pretty
soon as you
nice.
click the login button, that's when it starts. So if you got updates, yeah, that cuts into your hours.
But if you're on PS4, it's sure to be pre-downloaded for you.
Yeah, and if it hasn't pre-downloaded, just press start, check for updates, and it'll download.
Yep, that won't impact your time. But when you first sign in,
'cause
then it does. So,
Yeah, it's only on PC that it affects your time.
correct. They also released a digital Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood EP. It's available on iTunes and Amazon. It's a selection of 8 different songs. You can choose from Sunrise, A Land Long Dead, Battle, Escape, Heartless, A Pall Most Murderous, or From the Dragon's Wake for 99 cents each. Or if you buy them all, you'll also get From the Heavens for $9 from Amazon or $10 on iTunes.
Which kind of sucks
Doesn't
because
make-
they're
yeah.
actually cheaper individually.
Oh, but you don't get the last song, which is twice as long as the rest of them.
No, but even if you could buy that last song individually, it's technically cheaper.
Yeah, no, I know, I agree, because you're either
Yeah.
paying $7 to buy the other 7 songs individually, $6.93 technically, or you're paying $9 on Amazon and $10 on iTunes. So you're paying an extra $1 to get one more,
That Apple tax.
an extra $3 to buy
Yeah.
one more song on iTunes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Apple tax.
yeah. It doesn't make much sense to me either. But I figured if you're interested in getting a few select songs and you don't have the Stormblood soundtrack, this is maybe a way for you to get some songs. And of course, don't forget the Final Fantasy 15 crossover is live right now. So if you have not yet, you can go get your own regalia. It only costs 200,000 MGP, or what is it? Monthly payments of. Just kidding.
I am somewhat heartwarmed at just how much people are sharing information about good ways to get MGP and to raise that money. I am also really pleased that the outfit that you are wearing right now, Klauss, also looks about the same on women, that I don't have to do a slutty version of it.
No.
I like that casual.
Yeah. Well, my outfit is actually a mix of different ones. The top is from the event. The pants are actually the squall pants. The boots are the cloud boots, and I'm using the Hure gloves.
Well, sure, but my point is the jacket itself, still remains faithful.
Yes.
I've always liked that kind of, slightly androgynous look to it. I don't like the ones where it's like, oh, look, I am a female character.
Yeah, it doesn't have
like
the slutty shirt underneath.
Yeah, none of that.
Well, at least I'm thinking of what is it, the Kiramu coat? The guy doesn't even have a shirt underneath.
Yeah. There's a lot I could say here, but that goes into a half-hour gender issue. So we'll save it.
Yeah.
But I like this outfit. It totally fits the aesthetic I want.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty well designed.
And then you dye it metallic green.
It also has flappy bits. Yay for
Actually,
flappy bits.
hang on. Let me take a
No,
look at
that's
this.
that's the Easter one, not
Oh,
not
okay.
not the one for the crossover event. The Easter one.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't have flappy bits.
Well, the shirt, the jacket does flop a little bit, but I really can't show you without being able to sit down again. So,
But yes, we have cute sprig and whatnot.
yep, you have basically 2 more days to get that. Unless
Yeah.
you're on NA, then you have a day and a half. You've got
So
basically
make sure
till
you do it
before
soon.
that. And it's not that difficult. Seyrr, you still need to do it, correct?
Yeah, that's probably what I'm getting done this tonight.
There you go. It shouldn't take you more than an hour, hour and a half.
Hot damn.
Probably not even that long for you. You're pretty quick on the uptake for that stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yay, puzzles.
And I guess there is a screenshot contest for the EU Chille.
Yay! I'll never enter it, but yay! I should enter it because I want some of the stuff. I've never got any of the prizes.
Also, yeah, not that many people enter some of these contests, and so if you get in, like, even if they're just picking randomly, you've got a pretty damn good shot.
Yeah, I want my girl cap. I want a little kitty for my head.
You don't want the noble barding?
Well, I want that, but I can't use it. I can't glamour that, so I can only.
Yeah, you can just enter multiple contests. Problem solved.
There you go.
Maybe I'll go for the Scarf of Wondrous Wit. Yeah. Yeah.
If you could see my face now.
I don't know. I can't see it behind your Scarf of Wondrous Wit.
Which I bought for 50 gil.
Ah,
Awkward.
don't worry. It'll be another 2 years before anyone can buy it again.
For
Takes
25
about 2 or
gil.
3 years.
All right. So yeah, that basically covers the gaming community news. If you guys have something you want us to talk about that's happening on your servers, let us know. Send us an email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can tweet at us at PHXDNradio out on Twitter. Yeah. So this week, we talked about it a little while back. I tasked Seyrr with getting through Eureka. How did you do it, Seyrr?
Yeah, that so didn't happen. But I did the next best thing. Poured through all sorts of documents and sat down and watched someone who diligently recorded every single cutscene and in area interaction and all of that, as well as the fights against the various like notorious monsters, which was kind of fast.
The different Zuzus?
Like, yeah.
To be honest, that sounds like more fun for you than actually playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still like to at some point, just stuff has been, again, really busy, and I've barely had the chance to log in, so I was like, okay, make some popcorn, get comfy, and yeah, it turned out to actually be kind of a fun little movie summary of it, which also, since a lot of the stuff were pretty much, okay, go get some more levels, okay, there's another step in this that says, getting out the same thing, so having it all in a single narrative made it a lot easier to keep track of and follow what was going on,
Also,
rather than having it broken up.
Before we get going, shout outs to YouTube channel Harmonia for creating those amazing videos that Seyrr and I watched. I watched them to basically just refresh myself on it and put down some notes for the show tonight. And Seyrr used that. I sent that to Seyrr, and that's what he watched to kind of get through it. So
yeah, let me see if they have any information about the. Nope. But yeah, HARMONEA. Looks like they already have a healthy number of subscribers, and if that's the kind of quality content they're putting out, they've done Final Fantasy XIV, the movie, for various patches, class and job quests, side quests. So if it's just something where you want to refresh yourself on the cutscenes, check specific lines, other stuff like that, lots of good options from that.
Yeah.
Actually, fairly impressive work.
lots of videos.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of videos. So check them out. Very amazing, well done stuff. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Eureka story and lore today. Discussion, we're going to be going over the story, and then for the lore segment, Seyrr is going to dig deeper into the lore aspect of it. So,
It's messy.
a mysterious island appears in the middle of the glass sea. Initial attempts to investigate it have failed, as the land is overrun with dangerous beasts and a number of odd etheric disturbances. We have been tasked to join in on an expedition backed by the East Eldonor Trading Company and House of Rowena, to discover the secrets behind this mystery.
Now, I do appreciate that they made sure to cover, because taking an investigation out to this is a random island in the middle of nowhere. Investigations aren't free, so they actually spend a bit of time talking about the financiers behind it, calling back to a number of points that they've established before. And it's one of those little details that, especially as someone who likes economics, just really appreciating those little bits filled in, where both Hancock and Rowena are interested in if a new island has appeared in the middle of the Glass Ocean, unclaimed by anyone. This seems like a really good place to establish support, have support for shipping operations where you don't have to deal with the sky-high tariffs that Kugane puts on all of their stuff passing through their port.
Then question, and then profit.
Pretty much. I mean, the step 2 seems reasonable. Like, build a port, maybe supply ships. Go around Kugane entirely. Let them... Wait, no, I'm supporting Kugane. I don't know whose side I'm on anymore. And Kryl, of course, has a personal interest in investigating the island, but she's reluctant to say any more about that until she's actually confirmed her theory.
Well, the first thing that happens as soon as we set foot is she confirms her suspicions.
I mean, it didn't take much, given what it was. Just one look at the place would have been enough to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, you just land there and go, yep, that's definitely what I wanted to see.
Yep, it's the Isle of Val.
Oh my god.
Spoilers.
Now, that's a little bit weird because it disappeared, literally wiped off the map. The entire island was gone back in 2.1. And when it was wiped off the map, it was up near the Charlayan homeland, which is
Other side
a
of the
good
world.
ways. Yeah. Like, I want to say it's a bit to the west, northwest. Like, you're heading westwards from Dravania in order to get there. So, and now we're halfway around the world, the far east. This exact same island has shown. Islands do not typically migrate.
This is on the back of a turtle.
I rather think they would have noticed it was on the back of a turtle long before.
Elegance.
You're not wrong, and that makes me angry.
I could say Asians, but again, you would say the same thing.
Also correct. Still angry.
The one thing that they notice once we get there is we're able to see this tall tower in the distance, which is the students of Waldesian headquarters, and it's surrounded by a barrier. Now, Kryl's initial thought, are there survivors? Because when she left, there was quite the issue, the thing happening. You know, she doesn't remember a lot of what happened initially, but all she knows is it wasn't good. And if the people survived after the disappearance and then now it's back, she wants to find, because she thought she was the only one who survived for a very long time.
I think even back then it was specifically referenced that given that she has the power of the Echo, that she is one of the chosen of Hydaelyn, that she had been rescued somehow. So
yeah,
the way she was rescued is not even something that she could have counted on happening to other people. So her assumption until now had just been that she was the only one left. And here's this kind of moment of hope that maybe there are other survivors of it.
Well, I guess until she was also met at the docks before we left by a really long-haired, strange-looking Lalafell.
Yeah.
Hey, just because I had long hair doesn't mean I'm strange.
You don't wear glasses.
Other long-haired Lalafell.
The very we couldn't tell if it was of a boy or a girl Lalafell.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely most definitely a boy, Ejika Tsujika. I believe that's how that's pronounced, is it not? Ejika, close enough. Anyway, but the island had an Aethernet system designed and built on it, but when we get there, after it emerged or it showed up, the Ethernet was not working anymore. And they couldn't get Wi-Fi to go either, but it's...
Damn it, Wi-Fi.
Well, it said the Ethernet was blocked. Maybe they need to get a new firewall?
Maybe
Huh?
they need to do port forwarding.
Yeah, have you unplugged it and plugged it back in? Anyway, sorry. Computer geek jokes. Basically, what will happen if we want to try and repair it so we can allow us to continue deeper exploration within the island. We dub the area we get to Animos. And so we're told to go out and explore. And Kryl then contacts us and says, hey, we've got these little things that are showing up on my scans that are blocking the flow of ether. Can you go check them out? And as we check these different areas out, we discover these tiny little rocks that are full of magic. Maybe why they're called magicite, huh?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
But what's cool about that is we can use these magicite to basically improve how we are able to work within the interesting ethereal currents and how everything is. Because Eureka is really messed up etherically. And these magicite help us to combat some of that and improve how we can fight. We can, for those who aren't familiar with it, we get something called the Magia board, and we use the magicite.
Spin to win, yo.
Yeah, spin to win.
Spin it to win it, and you can either assign these magicites to one of 6 different elements, either for offense or defensive use. So if you are fighting something that is earth aspected, all of the different enemies here have a different elemental affinity, whether it's earth, wind, water, fire,
or heart.
ice. No heart.
This was something that they touched on repeatedly, that one of the issues with this island was not just that you had these savage beasts, but that lots of weird things were going on with the island's ether, and this had even crept into those creatures that had survived, causing them to attack not just physically, but to be able to strike at your ether. And so the only option was to have something that would allow you to strengthen and rework your own ethereal defenses in order.
Correct. So you can then use these magicite to either increase your offense or your defense. So you take less damage or do more damage to the opposing element.
I have to say, I had expected that there might be a little more interesting dynamics in terms of how you set it up in terms of deploying your Magia board into different configurations, and it pretty much ended up being, okay, put it all into one thing, spin that around to the appropriate element, and either to be able to attack it or occasionally to be able to defend it.
Yeah, depending on if you're a tank or a DPS or a healer.
Yeah, I had hoped for something a little more strategically in.
Well, if you're doing spoilers, if you're doing BA at the end of this, now that it exists, because back then, that was a thing. But in BA, it is a good idea to having 2 separate things for the DPS, so that way you've got a little bit of defense.
Yeah, or you later ones will also give you access to additional magicite that you can put in.
Yeah.
So
if you could be bothered to do it,
or get lucky drops or are rich.
Spoilers, not many people can't.
Yes. Anyway, we'll discuss that when we get there too. Moving on. Yeah. So basically, we learned that the island was actually fraught with peril even while it was inhabited by the students of Aldesian. So these enemies were there before it disappeared.
Like, the place got worse, but it was always kind of bad. This had always been an area that was like, okay, we are not quite sure why you would want to set up shop.
They did it. Well, we know why they did it now, but
we'll get to that later.
Exactly. There was a strategic reason for doing it that way. They wanted to make sure that it was uninhabited, save for the students' HQ.
Private research island.
Yeah, basically.
For science!
That never ends poorly.
And then once we get all of the magicite and then start to get the final Ethernet relay up and running, we are visited by a strange cloaked figure who asks us Seekest thou power?
I had
Power
to check
smite
the.
thine enemies,
Oh,
to cast down the wicked and raise up the righteous.
I just have to say, as soon as I saw that, I went and checked the script for Xenogears because there's a character who says something similar, but not the same, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't actually.
Oh, you thought maybe it was a
wasn't,
reference?
but
Think it's a reference?
I thought it might be, and so I immediately looked up the script for Xenogears, and it turned out not to be, but that was the first place.
Gotcha. Right after that, we get our first echo flashback of Eureka. We see 4 figures from basically the nose down, talking about fighting a powerful being and trying to lock it up on a remote island that could also serve as a prison. We learn that one of them is named Galuf.
Is that how? I thought it was Galuf.
I think it's Gareth.
I don't know if it's Galuf or Galuf. Could be either or. Is it Bahamut or Bahamut?
Bahamut. That one's easy.
Is it Ifrit or Ifrit? Anyway.
Is it Shiva or Sassy Queen? We get it.
Is it Garuda or Garada?
Is it Tsukuyomi or Tuscanomi?
Tuscanomi.
That one has an established pronunciation.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Tuscanomi, according to Chille. Regardless. So Nick Nar says, I used to say Galuf as well, but I figured it could be Galuf. I never played.
It's like it's supposed to be what? Tidus. It's not Tidus or something like that.
I always said Titus.
Tidus.
At any rate, that strange visitation notwithstanding, we do have the Ethernet relay up and running. Kryle teleports in shortly afterwards to prove that, being rather relieved that she has arrived with all of her bits intact.
Yeah.
And so with that, they are ready to further expand the reach of the Ethernet and use that to reach another region of the island.
Though she was very shocked to hear about our little echo.
Oh, yes, especially with the name of her grandfather popping up.
Yes, so. But that basically ends the storyline of Animos, at which point we, once it's available, we go back to the Thancred wannabe out on the docks, and we are taken to the next zone, which has been dubbed Pagos.
Pagos.
Yep. Latin root indicating ice.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Such a surprise.
I know. I could have swore it would have been Earth, but...
I will say I am mildly annoyed that they didn't have it be all 4 classical elements. So you have earth, air, fire, water.
Yeah.
Instead we got ice, air, fire, water. But whatever. I don't know how the earth one would have worked aside from having constant dust storms.
And
other than that,
earthquakes,
cave systems maybe.
Yeah.
So,
but then that would be naturally occurring. How would it be over aspect?
Too many earthquakes. Larger earthquakes.
So now we have access here, and we learned from Eureka that there's something inside of HQ because there is some etheric pressure being exerted outward instead of inward if we were trying to, keep something out.
If it was something where the outside environment is trying to invade, then you see okay, there's pressure being pushed on it from the outside. But pressure coming from the inside suggests that there is something in there that it is powerful and that it is trying to push its way.
And that they're trying to keep in. But we don't know what that is yet, so...
But there's that suggestion that there's something more going on here than we know about.
Kryle is still holding out hope that there are still survivors, so we need to continue and build up the Ethernet so we can continue our exploration. So we continue investigating the restriction of the flow of ether. This time we discover that the confluences are much weaker than they were in Animos, and that their source is a very different stone, completely deplete of all aether. A depleted magicite, so to speak.
I was rather amused that Kryle makes a comment that she reserves the right to give them a completely different name.
I don't know if you noticed that, but that's actually mentioned multiple times. So if they end up doing that, so.
It's like, oh, and it turned out to be a different ancient Allegan here.
It was actually just a potato all along.
They wish.
I feel like people should have noticed that.
As we're searching for them, we find one that actually has a stronger etheric signal, but we discover our masked friend there.
Not
and then
Steve!
we get
Different masked friend.
Yeah. And we get another echo flashback. The 4 Dawn Warriors that they've been called by some people are discussing on trying to how to hold an icon at bay. And this icon seems to take control of any it deems worthy, and how they need to do something that they refer to as reversing the flow. Now, we don't really know what that means right now. But when we come out of it, we notice that our friend is gone, and in its place is another depleted magicite. So
Yeah, Kryle had remarked that although they seemed linked, without actually observing the process, it was impossible for us to be sure. And so here's that proof right in front of us.
Basically, yeah. We didn't actually see it, but because they were there, and then after we got back, they were gone. Yeah. It's pretty damning evidence on their part that they're doing something to try and weaken these magicite. But we're not sure to what end exactly. We try and find Eureka to try and get some more information, and we learn that Eureka is a jealous bitch.
I mean, can you really blame him? Like, he's been working alongside Kryle, who's this person who's like, so, this perfect pure, the planet talked to her.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to give anyone a inferiority complex.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I could dodge stuff because the planet tells me what to do.
That's still not canon. Oh my god, why do people...
But the fact that he's just so vocally... He's just an asshole about it, though.
Not sure. He doesn't have to like it.
Though he does apologize to us, even though we're basically in the same boat as Eureka. But, you know, maybe he doesn't realize that it's not always this big fancy thing that it's cracked up to be. It is kind of funny that one of the options is, it's pretty much a complete blessing.
Yeah, I actually really like that one. It's like, oh, yeah, no, it really is that awesome. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pretend and say the nice thing. Let's just both admit it. It's so cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciated that was an option.
You know, but the thing is, he is extremely smart, and he is extremely gifted. He may not get to talk to a mother crystal that tries to send him on fetch quests now, but he's still, you know, does amazing things. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that this story would be the same without a character like him. But
that's kind of cold comfort when you're still the person who's always been kind of second best.
Only to himself, he thinks, or I would think at this point.
I don't know. Anyways, this is something about which we can actually have quite vigorous debate for quite a long time.
Yes.
So
Anyway,
maybe we should keep going.
So we go back to Kryle with this information, and we tell her about the scene with reversing the flow, and we're talking to Eureka about it. Sorry, and the reversing the flow reminds him of something Kryle had called the proto-aetherite, which they had used in the past to monitor fluctuations in the ether stream when they would perform experiments.
Yeah, they explicitly note that it was not one that they usually use for teleportation, which it was kind of nice to say. It's like, yes, this isn't just a convenient teleportation stone. It's a big agglomeration of ether. There's lots of different uses for it. Well, yeah, you could probably use it for that, but it's like, it's not just a convenient plot device for teleport.
It does different things.
Yeah.
It's a multi-purpose aether crystal.
It's also very old. This was the first aetherite that they actually studied off of and used to design and build the current aetherite system that we have now.
That we still pay for every time we teleport.
Well, yeah.
Unless you have
people
the aetherite coupons.
People who are wandering about in the game right now, if you pop over to the Dravanian hinterlands and go into that big old building, the one that the goblins have set up shop in, that big central chamber, you can see is their aetherite factory, where the Charlanes were in fact creating aetherites built on what they learned from that very first.
Yep, which was built back in the Allegan Empire.
Damn you, Allegans!
One way or another, they're behind everything.
So we are asked to continue to investigate the ethereal disturbances, and we are directed to a massive font of aether surging from deep in the ground and going high into the sky. For those of you who remember where this, or have been into Pagos and remember where this is just that area north of where Cassie spawns, where all of those griffins are, and it's a pain in the ass to get to because they're true sight.
It's a really inspiring sight, though. It's just cool.
Oh, it's a beautiful area, but like I said, to get there, holy shit, you need some major luck to get into that. Cryle says she knows what to do to get us out of there, but needs additional time to work out all the details. And did you get rid of? You did get rid of my bit, didn't you? Oh, no, never mind. There it is. Meanwhile, for some reason, I don't know why it disappeared on me. Meanwhile, Eureka is visited by our masked friend who proclaims to him that he is Eureka.
I am the Eurekas.
Which is a little awkward because, like, Cryle picked that name just because it was referring to some old legend. Like, it's a little awkward to be like, oh, yeah, they called it that, so we'll call it that. It's like, okay, that isn't.
What a twist.
Yeah.
I think she actually does remark on that at one point.
Yes. In the next bit, I believe. Mm-hmm. So at this point, Pyros, when that comes available, we then, Cryle figures us out how to get to the next area and wants to study the proto-aetherite to get the current state, get insight on the current state of the Isle at this point. And conveniently, our base camp is very close to it. So,
I mean, I imagine that they're looking for a place to establish base camp based on access.
Yes.
Study. And also places we can defend and bring in supplies.
So anyway, Cryo believes that this godlike entity that they call a deiform is trying to absorb aether flowing into the headquarters and has been starting to gain strength from it. Which is why we're feeling this pressure pushing out as it's gaining strength. And while we need to continue to try and rebuild the aetherite network, we also need to ascertain the nature of this primal and figure out what its true nature is.
Yep. As a side note, deiform tends to be the term they use when they're going for kind of a more scientific character talking about it. But it's pretty much just any type of godlike entity. So primals, icons, there's all these different terms for them that get tossed back and forth, and each one has their own subtle implications, which doesn't help when you have people who don't know what they mean in-game and out, using them pretty much interchangeably.
Yeah, and I believe that the Dawn Warriors mainly call it an icon, whereas
they do.
Cryle seems to continue to call it a primal.
Well, yeah, because she grew up with us, so yeah. I guess.
Well, even though it actually would technically be an icon because it comes from the time of the...
Hey, we haven't gotten there yet.
Well,
yeah.
Haven't we?
No.
We haven't actually found out what it is yet. We're not there in the story yet.
Okay.
It's a mysterious thing that's
Order of operations matters, damn it.
True. All right.
We don't know that at this point in the story, even if we telling the story know it now.
So,
but yes, There is some type of deiform thing that's absorbing ether flowing into the headquarters, and we want to keep fixing that regional Ethernet because the search for survivors is still one of Kryle's top priorities. But as a good scion of the Seventh Dawn, she also, would like to investigate what's going on.
True. All right. So as we are going through and finding these confluences and discovering more magicite, Kryle asks to investigate them. And after she's able to get a few of them, she's able to confirm that Val was teleported to the Glass Sea.
Thank God for that 999 teleport gill cap, all right?
Yeah, otherwise that would have been a very expensive teleport.
I just imagine some gate guard seeing the entire thing teleporting. It's like, technically it's 1,000 gil, but I feel like you're breaking the spirit of them.
Instead of being destroyed by destructive magic like Ultima by Asians, which is that was the prevailing thought back when the island first disappeared.
Right. They tested out Ultima weapon on it.
That was the thought, that because it was around that same time frame, after we had just beaten Ultima Weapon, we thought maybe the Asians were basically trying to exact revenge by destroying the Charlayan island there.
Or just take out inconvenient people who could get in the way of it.
True.
That's about what I had at the time.
And we also determined that the teleportation is what caused these twisted ethereal currents, warped elemental energies, and the things like the weird weather, all these magicites, the different logograms, as well as all the odd monsters.
Which, I mean, that one also makes some amount of sense. Look at what happened to Y'shtola and Thancred after their little excursion into the ethereal sea.
Yeah.
Now imagine that happening.
Go ahead.
Like, not what happens, including like the long-term effects on them. Now imagine that happening to an entire island.
Yeah, small ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it was in there for months, potentially. We don't know the exact amount of time, honestly.
We never know the exact amount of time.
No.
There's a time bubble. This is a thing that the lore mongers get asked about a lot.
Yeah, because this could have been weeks, months.
Klauss, you are not asking about the time frame of things. We are not going down this road. Okay. I will cut you.
Okay,
He will.
For an indeterminate amount of time.
Yes.
Some sort of time period has happened.
But yes.
Moons have passed.
More than one. Less than infinity.
Who knows? Let's just go on to. We learned that the Shrouded Man.
I want to see how much I can aggravate Seyrr.
No, we don't need that. We need to do the things.
Right. So Eureka tells us that the Shrouded Man called himself Eureka. And
twists?
It's at this point that Kryle recalled discussing the legend of Eureka with classmates. And thinking it was an underground labyrinth beneath Crystal Tower that contained powerful,
which is a funny callback.
Powerful Allegan Empire weapons.
Nick, no, by the way, how I sit down on couches like that is I do sit on the ground instead of sit.
Yeah, G-sit.
Yeah, there's an option to,
ground
I think
sit.
It's like flash ground sit, which has you do the sit on ground animation no matter what you're standing on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
She recalls that she remembers her grandfather and all the other founders got very quiet and sullen at the mention of the word Eureka, and they just told her no and walked off.
No, it's not Eureka. Off you go.
And she wondered what she did to upset them. And she's thinking that there's something else behind that name, and she wants to know more about it. So at this point, she learns... Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I'll go ahead and take this. So with all the information we've brought, with the news that Eureka brings, all of that, she puts it together and comes to the conclusion that the Isle of Val is actually acting as a gigantic ward that's created by diverting that flow of ether, inverting that pattern, reversing the flow of ether, so as to slowly drain the ether away from the primal. which is a rather innovative way to defeat a primal. If you cannot attack it directly, maybe you can
Yeah.
slowly siphon the ether out of it and destroy it that way. And so as we remove those ethereal blockages, as we've been finding that Magicite taking care of those confluences, we're not only fixing the island's Ethernet, but we are also strengthening that ward, helping seal it away a bit better and reducing the risk that it's going to break out. But in order to actually properly finish the job, we're going to need to not only get that flow back to normal, but also precisely align it. A job that we can actually do using etherites like that proto-etherite in a manner that's described as being somewhat similar to the way our Magia board uses Magicites. Though Kryle admits that
It's
very
totally
quickly
not
that the metaphor has gotten away from it.
Yeah.
But then the big shocker is the proto-etherite is then destroyed. Because Eureka is now working with Eureka.
Dun dun dun.
I don't know if you'd call it working with, but
It's totally working.
Enslavement by Eureka.
Eureka, as he has told us, always being envious of the power, the blessings we've been given, was also offered that power by Eureka, and he has very quickly leapt on that.
And he gets a blade of pure aether that looks strikingly similar to a
To the
blade.
Zantensuken.
Yeah, to a blade that Odin carries. Zantensuken,
Zantensuken.
not Hadouken,
Hadouken.
not Hadoken. But with the destruction of the proto-aetherite, the ward has now been destabilized, as has the Aethernet, and Eureka starts growing stronger yet.
Yeah, and given the fact that we know now that Eureka is some kind of deiform akin to a primal, we are instantly concerned that Eureka may now be its thrall, may have been tempered or whatever term.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's at this point we get another echo flashback in the proto-aetherite room of Kryle and Eureka performing experiments with an aged Galuf. And Eureka was just as insufferable then as he has been now. But Kryle really enjoys his company. And Galuf recognizes that they actually make a pretty damn good pair, as to which they both reply, "We do not!"
Yeah, neither of them really. I just want to point out, Eureka Tsunjika, last name, starts with Sun, like Tsundere. Coincidence? I think.
I feel like they would, if things were different, they would be dating.
Maybe.
I think deep down he wants to smash that potato.
Oh my god, you just said that! What the hell, Cloud? What the hell?
Well,
There was like that momentary bit of shock before. It's like, oh god, he actually said.
worse has been said on this show, but
Yeah,
That's
true.
not saying much.
And on that note, Crow wants to create a new focal point, just like I'm doing right now, to replace the lost prototype aetherite using the Magicite we've been collecting and flood it with aether from Pyros.
so we go to where the ether is shooting up from Pagos, and we test out that theory, and the Magicite is able to absorb all of that additional energy, and
Yeah, that plume of ether is so huge that in a completely different region, we can still get to an area that's like far way up above it, and it's still blasting up through there.
and
Pretty
going
impressive.
much higher than we can still see. I'm
Yeah, I
surprised they
kinda
can't
wonder if
see
it's-
it for miles and miles and or malms and malms and malms from the glass sea.
Well, I mean, it depends on how. Quick side note: it's not the glass sea; it's the glass ocean. Depending on how big this ocean is and where exactly this island is situated in it,
I could have sworn they call it the glass sea.
I'm pretty sure it's ocean, but at least I was pretty sure it's ocean. Anyways, but depending on how high it's going and how far things up, and especially depending on what the weather's like around there, which, given the weird patterns we've been seeing, it's not that unthinkable that it wouldn't be visible.
Yeah, it could be shrouded in clouds.
Yep.
I mean, I was actually going to say that bit, so.
Anyway, then we go to Hydatos.
Correct.
Kral opens up the way to the final area outside of the students of Baldessian headquarters.
Basically, yeah.
Entry is normally permitted to students by teleportation, but aetherall conditions are making it dangerous.
Yeah,
Kral
you don't want to
suggests we
teleport in
use
that shit.
the back door.
No, Chille.
Well, she does say she wants to use the back door.
No. You're
I'm
both...
sure Eureka wants to use the back door.
Is that how he's going to smash that?
Yeah.
And we've broken
I'm on a
Seyrr.
list now. I'm on some kind of list. I was probably already on some kind of list.
Yep. So basically, Hydatos is on the rear of the headquarters. So normally, like I said, when the Aetherite is, or the Aethernet is fully functional, students with access are able to teleport in and out with ease inside of the building. But they did create this other way in that utilizes something called an Aether Bridge.
They do specifically mention that this is something in case they do have visitors who lack the ability to teleport.
Yes.
Yeah, which is not quite a lot of few people. I thought it was rare that people could teleport.
In general, yes, but do keep in mind that the Isle of Val is being mostly used by the students of Valdesion. So you're going to have people with a lot more ethereal aptitude among their people.
Yes. So it's at this point that the expedition scholar comes in and fills us in on a detail that she found while searching through the different legends of Eureka. Discovered that this primal forges weapons to put in the hands of mortals, and that exposure to these weapons put the wielder in peril, similar to a story of a current elder primal wandering the shroud named Odin.
That resemblance of Zantetsuken may be less of a coincidence than we thought.
Yeah. And this person actually appeared during the age of the Allegan Empire.
Yeah. I thought the thing with Odin was the fact that the reason why he doesn't need people believing him is the fact that it's the sword itself that's the primal.
They believe that Eureka forged Zantetsuken and gave it to him, thus creating the primal.
It may not be quite correct to say that the blade itself is a primal either. This is something that's getting to weird definitional stuff in terms of being tossed back and forth. But people have always thought of Odin as a primal because they see it behaving by these rules, and they see this thing that appears to disappear and be resummoned over and over.
But because of this legend, that's what gave rise to the idea of a forbidden land beneath the Crystal Tower. Because they took and hid it below there once it was deemed to be too powerful.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And the avatar of Eureka doesn't seem to match the formula for other primals. It's much more calculated.
One thing that I like I think Anonymous discussed in something or another was this idea that's like, okay, suppose you are going to have some type of primal-like thing created by people from a more scientific age, from their belief.
Yeah.
So you tell us like, okay, what's this thing that can produce whatever you want? It's like the blacksmith of the gods. And they're like, blacksmith of the gods? That's a story for Savage. But I guess something like that it'd be like a fabrication. But like a really good fabrication node that could make anything.
It'll be something that they want. It's like the Philosopher's Stone in a way.
Yeah. But sort of
turning stuff into gold.
What would the belief be of people who lived in an era where there was not as much call for a belief in traditional God? It was a fun idea. I don't know that there's necessarily any specific support for or against it, but it was kind of a fun perspective. Yeah.
So once we learn all this information, we now set out to work on repairing these towers to open the gates for the Aether Bridge.
Open the gates!
Even just watching that sequence, this just felt like a bit of fetch questy type thing. Okay, get some levels, go to this place, get a thing, come
Yeah.
back, woo, you got one open, repeat
This part
3
of the
times.
story really was just fetch quest.
Yeah. I
Throw
feel
open
lucky to
the-
have kind of skipped over it in the space of about 5 minutes.
But guys, throw open wide the gates.
No.
So basically,
Do I need to find Ender's fan theory about that? I will find it. We will get delisted so fast if I read that one out loud, believe.
all right. So basically, we're able
Well,
to
I
I'll
was
repair.
just
save that for
making it-
Phoenix. I'll save that
Look,
for Phoenix Down After Dark.
I was just making a joke about the Stormbringers.
I'm aware.
Okay, good. You don't need to bring naughty fan fiction into it until later.
Okay.
Yeah,
Phoenix Down
Yeah.
After Dark. Please
Privately
look forward to.
in the After Dark channel. So basically, we're able to repair these towers by infusing them with pooled aether concentrations and deploying regulators to restore the flow.
Yeah, it just felt like.
I mean, it was kind of interesting, and the fact that Kral was out there helping was nice.
Yeah.
So once we fix them and we gain entry, we encounter a strange cube that is Eureka.
Damn you, Peter Molyneux.
And it's locked behind a barrier.
Yeah,
Now,
it's totally like a Star Trek rep
Yeah.
or something.
it's a Borg cube.
Yeah, I believe it. This is canon now.
It will assimilate.
I get to just declare things canon, you know? It's awesome.
See, I was also thinking of that stupid Peter Molyneux game. Yeah, that was on the phones at one point, and whoever got to the middle was the winner.
Can't
I'm
say
not
that I
familiar with
recall
that
that.
I don't remember. Oh, it was a huge, like a weird, like. Yeah. No.
Anyway, we need to lower the barrier in order to repair the ward. And we need to be careful because Eureka needs it lowered to be able to free Eureka from its confines.
Yeah, trying to do what we need to do without accidentally leaving ourselves open for our new primal co-conspirator. A little bit tricky.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, we go through their library there, and this is where all the good information from this part of it comes. So we read through the research, and we discover that Eureka was initially imprisoned by a champion of Hydaelyn. They discovered this by actually gathering the information from the avatar of Eureka.
Which a lot of the comments that Eureka had made when it first met us about being the one who abides in light and all that take on a little bit more of a sinister thing. It recognizes us as similar to the thing that sealed it away the first time.
Correct. And its weird behavior suggests possible Ascian involvement at this point.
Ascians involved in my story? I'm
Poppycock.
shocked.
A weapon forged by the icon takes control of the wielder by usurping its aether, eventually taking full control of it and allowing it to act autonomously to fulfill the weapon's wish.
Which, to be clear, it's not something that the weapon itself is forged in response to what's so like someone
What its
asks Eureka for
master's
Right.
wishes are. Correct.
yeah
It's
someone asks
basically
Eureka.
a monkey's paw. You get what
Pretty
you
much.
want, but at the end, it's not
It
what
gives you
wanted.
exactly what it was you were asking for. It's not its fault that you don't actually think carefully about what you're asking for and what its consequences would be.
And
Yeah.
we learn that 5 such arms like this have been sealed away.
And there's some unknown number potentially out there in the world as well.
Yes.
Future relic weapons.
Oh, no. I mean, I guess us wielding them would be less bad because we're immune to those temptations, but
Yeah.
Are we?
I think they actually make reference to that at some point. The
Yeah.
fact that we can't be tempered
Yeah.
by primals.
But is it a
Yeah.
permanent thing? I mean, if we're like in its presence for an extended period of time, could it eventually wear out down?
Well,
that
that's the
protection?
thing. If it's a future relic weapon, if we've already sealed away the threat, technically the weapons might not have any.
But have we really? Anyway, moving
Eh.
on.
That's why I said a future relic weapon.
So we,
I don't think they would, but it's an amusing idea.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we dig through some other books and we find a note written by Galuf telling us that Eureka can create not just weapons, but any and all things.
which sounds really great until you start doing that thing we were discussing earlier and start thinking through what that actually means.
Like perhaps a replacement mother crystal?
Yeah.
Or
Or a
if you told
bacon
it like,
sandwich.
well, a bacon sandwich, but what if you said, I want all the bacon?
That would,
And then
I can't be-
Eureka consumes every single bit of ether in the world to produce more and more bacon, or a mother, or whatever. For
Yes.
something slightly less insane, some greedy person who wants more and more gold.
Yeah.
Yep. It would cause a damage on the same scale as any calamity and potentially worse.
Yeah.
They also
It is a machine that does not have its failsafes, that does not have its limiters on, and it will do what it's told to, even if this means it's destroying everything in the process.
and Asians eventually found the location, and they evacuated the island and then drowned the entire isle in the life stream. They basically teleported it into the life stream once they got people off of it. Once they tried to get people off of it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, shit goes down when the Asians go, no, we don't want to eat this.
Yeah, it's unclear what exactly is meant by drown the island in the live stream. There's a couple possible interpretations, and this is something we'll get into a little bit later. But a lot of this is stuff where there's lots of interesting potential complications.
Now, once they were in the live stream, they worked together to defeat the Asian Emeralolf. Is that how that's pronounced?
I don't know. We've discussed this so many times, and I'm still not sure how to pronounce it.
Emerald.
We'll call him Rafflecopter.
Ruffleoff.
Yeah, sure. Fine by me.
And once he was defeated, his essence was scattered throughout the torrents of aether, never to be rejoined again. Or so they hope.
Which is a great way to kill an Asian.
Yeah, because if its aether is all spread out, I mean, it worked for taking out.
Nabrialis?
No,
Yeah.
what was that anime we watched? Chille. Helsing.
Helsing, yeah.
Yeah, it basically similar type of thing worked to take out Helsing.
Yeah. Well, he came back.
No,
didn't he,
not
so-
Helsing, but the Schrodinger's cat thingy.
Oh, yeah, the Schrodinger.
Yes.
So anyway, Galuf does wrap up the note by, in writing it, he muses that he expects that, given that the island has been cast into the live stream, that pretty much that's the end of it. This is gone. But if someone is reading the note, then that means it's come back to the world. How? And in that case, and he specifically asks you to go and let the science, whoever finds this note, go find the science of the Seventh Dawn.
And bid them to seal Eureka away and guard it against those who would use it for ill.
Like
Ah.
me.
Yes, like Chille, because he wants all the bacon now. Thanks,
Look,
Seyrr,
I
for giving
would
that
use it to
idea.
make sure that the lava scorpion a real primal.
And he makes such a big lava scorpion that it would consume all the aether in the world.
It
and
would
then
become the new lava crystal. We'd have a new lava scorpion as the
It wouldn't be a
crystal.
mother crystal; it'd be a lava crystal.
Yeah,
I mean,
lava crystal.
I feel like you still end up with a calamity out of this one way or another.
But Chille has a giant lava crystal scorpion to ride.
Yeah,
Hooray? Question mark?
I can ride it through the void.
All right, so then we talk with Kryle, and she found a tome with info on the ward and how to deactivate the restraint, which also explains how Eureka's avatar is meant. The avatar is the means to manipulate aether for Eureka and forge the weapons.
Yeah,
So-
I like to think of it as that big rotating cube thing. That's kind of like a mainframe or something. That's like the main
Yeah.
body of it. But then you have this cloaked thing that's kind of like the interface. You don't operate the forge by talking directly to the mainframe. You talk on like the computer terminal, and you give it the instructions, and it communicates back and forth.
Yep, and it can be recreated anytime as long as Eureka itself still exists, but it will disappear if we sever the etheric connection, such as restoring the ward and sealing Eureka away again. It's at that point Kryle starts recounting her memories from the evacuation, how she had tried to teleport away when she was told to, but a massive surge of aether blocked it, And as she was trying to reach Port Surgate, she was swept up in the life stream. It was at that point that she was saved by the Mother Crystal and saddened by the fact that she was the only one who was saved.
Yeah, it's an interesting counterpoint to the comments that we had gotten from Ejika earlier, who had been expressed so much envy of this. And for her, it's like, okay, yes, I got this, but kind of a survivor's guilt situation going.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear to see that she at least feels a lot more conflicted and wonders how much of a blessing it is.
So, and now at this point, we now go and deactivate the restraint, and of course, are now surrounded by Ejika and Eureka's avatar. And we think that we're in trouble.
Yeah, he's got that sword raised. He's ready to strike.
Yeah.
Instead, he says, "This has been my plan all along. Here, Warrior of Light, catch the sword and kill it." So we
Wait.
do.
I want to link that Nicolas Cage so much right now. You have no idea.
I took
But
so many pictures of me holding that sword because it looked stupid with my character. It was just so big.
But yeah, we take the sword, we kill Eureka's avatar, and yeah, happy ending? Maybe?
Not quite yet.
Or was it? Da-da-da-da.
It's at this point, Cryo's about to go, repair the ward and reseal Eureka, but Ejika wants to do something else. Ejika wants to do what Galif was going to do, and that's destroy it. But through all of these different echo scenes that we watched, we realized, and they realized, that if they were to actually do that, it would not only take out Eureka potentially, but it would also kill them, because the aether that it uses is not only its own, but its master's.
And so any attempt to destroy Eureka by having to consume its ether is also going to drain the life out of whoever is commanding it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the reason they didn't do it at the time is because there was so much ether stored up within Eureka that it would have killed them long before it had gone and died, so it would not have worked. So they sealed it away in hopes that they would be able to come up with a different plan. But because Eureka expended so much energy, bringing the Isle back out of the life stream, Ejika believes that it's weakened enough to where he has more than enough etheric energy to take it out without any issues. But Cryo doesn't want to see Ejika commit suicide for the sake of this, because
she's prepared to do it herself.
Yeah.
Well, she wants to try and find a better way where she's not going to lose another survivor of the students of Baldessian.
Right. But she also makes a comment that even then, if it's something that's even under consideration, that she would prefer to do it herself rather than have him do it.
That's true.
Which again goes back a little bit to that, the thing where they did have some kind of relationship going on.
But
they cared for each other more than they thought.
Because of the fact that she had the echo.
Yes,
Yep.
the Echo, it will not actually take her orders because she serves the light with the Echo, whereas Ejika does not have the same such blessing, therefore would have the opportunity to do so.
Yep, that whole process of the tempering, the usurping, all that, that's the thing that actually allows Eureka to recognize someone as its master, follow its order. So sorry, Chille, as the Warrior of Light, you can't have it making bacon scorpions.
Oh,
You can ask somebody to make a bacon scorpion,
now I'm sad.
but you can't do it yourself.
Let's kill it.
Well, now
If I can't get bacon scorpions out of it, it belongs dead.
so now at this point, Square Enix has done something that they haven't done in the game up to this point. They actually give us a choice that matters.
Ish.
Well, they say that we can only see one side of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of being able to see, you only get the one side of the story. That is actually a choice that matters, even if mechanically it's not going to have effect.
Correct.
They do go out of their way to let you know that mechanically you'll still be able to finish out the story. You can still get all the various rewards, all that other stuff. This is something that just matters for the story. But given the people who play this game, that still matters a lot.
So, we are given the choice: do we either go with Klauss' plan and repair the ward and seal it back up and try and figure out what's going on after that, or do we take Ajika's plan and let him kill it and himself potentially?
Yeah, it's a hard choice. Do you sacrifice someone? Do you have someone that we've who did a lot for us, who went through this entire plan to give us this opportunity? Do we let him die, or do we seal it up and hope that we haven't just tossed away our one opportunity to kill it? Like one of the points that Jika makes,
Yeah.
what took to get here was really hard. There's no guarantee that we're going to have this opportunity to strike down Eureka again. This may be the one best shot we have to actually destroy it once and for all. Or do we just seal it up and hope that we can figure it out before sometime in the future when the containment ends up failing again?
Now, here's the question: do we want to go ahead and spoil the choices?
I don't know.
Because I did go through and I got I went through the one, but I looked up the others. The other information.
Yeah, I watched both of them because I was curious. It's interesting to see some stuff for how they did, for how it works out. But part of me does kind of want to leave that to the choice of the listeners when they do go through.
Yeah. So I think we'll leave it for now. I mean, we may come back and talk about it at a later date. But one thing that I will say is Yoshida says that technically this is the end of the story.
Yeah.
However, I am going to say this. If you want the full story, you need to clear BA.
Yep. There is, once you finish BA, there is a second set of things that actually depends a bit on what you chose the first time around. Like the scenes actually do change up a bit.
Correct.
That gives
Which is cool.
It gives a more complete resolution.
Correct. And now that I had, because I didn't know if I wanted to spoil this or not ahead of time, I researched both of them because I have not yet fully cleared BA. I've gotten to Ozma, but I haven't cleared it yet. I know what happens now, and it certainly is a thing that happens in the storyline.
Yeah.
But yes, and that actually is one of the points. Whatever means you use to take care of and resolve the situation with Eureka, there's still the matter of all the different weapons that it created. They have the 5 that are sealed up in the Baldessian arsenal. That even sealed away, these are dangerous artifacts that could usurp the wills of their wielders, come out into the world. Do we want another set of Zantetsukins out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You
people are not allowed to decide anything anymore.
2-1, we win.
I don't know that that's how this should work.
All right, so that was the story.
2-1, we decided that's how it's worked.
So
anyways,
that's the storyline of Eureka for those of you who have maybe not had a full chance yet to get through all of it. We hope that I know a lot of you who watched my progress through it, you've seen a lot of this story as well. When you compact it down, it's actually not a terrible story. There's a lot of busy work to get through it. Like the first 3 zones, there's a lot of the same stuff you're doing, but you get some bits of really good information, and you get a lot of it once you hit the HQ.
I do wonder, if it was something that suffered a little bit from being spread out in drips and drops like that. As I said, I had a bit of an easier time watching it all in one go.
Yeah.
But for something where you have all the stuff you need to do in between each little one, and some of the sections seemed like you didn't do all that much or get to see all that much before you were forced to go back to the ground. So I think I enjoyed it a little more than I would have if I got to experience it that way. I'm not sure if the in-game experience would have been as good. I don't know.
I would probably agree that the in-game experience probably wasn't great for a lot of people. But like I said, revisiting it made it seem a little bit better. I mean, it's definitely something, if you enjoyed the old school grinds of older MMOs, or just like the references to Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy V within Eureka, and then the throwbacks to 3 a little bit with the name, check it out. If you have the time, maybe they'll nerf it down the road so you can make it a little easier to get through.
I don't know now, really. I would have thought it by now, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's still something where you can get those relic weapons, so maybe something where they want to hold off a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Kind of Like, Eureka is
Yeah.
effectively the relic weapon grind for Stormblood.
It is. It absolutely is. Plus, there's other stuff in there, but there's some mounts. There's some
Just nerf
armor.
Pagos and everything will be fine.
A lot of people have said
Well, actually, if they just put in level sync, it'll
That
open
too,
it up.
but just lower the crystal amount in Pagos.
Nerf the numbers in general. Allow people to level sync to other people that are getting through it, and it's going to be much easier to get them through.
Yeah, there are some different proposals suggested for it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't actually know what would be good.
So, we've gotten the story. Now, how does all of this fit within the lore of Hydaelyn?
So, yeah, couple things to cover. First off, since you did reference it, I want to mention the callbacks we have to other Final Fantasy titles. So, the Forbidden Land Eureka appears in Final Fantasy III as an optional dungeon. There, it is actually located at the base of the Crystal Tower. And I wanted to note, just because I was amused by it, that bit where they talk about how one of the other students was
Raha.
theorizing. Yeah, they talk about, Krell talks about one of her fellow students, Raha, which for those who pay attention to Mikote naming conventions, that would be our good friend Garaha Tia, who seems to have always been a bit interested in the Crystal Tower. But
also, sorry, one thing.
Go for it.
If you remember back in the Crystal Tower saga, we had that Aether meter to just that's how we found all the the void and stuff. Yeah, the top. Like the fact that there was monsters up there. But during the last cutscene, you actually drop they drop it and it starts beeping. when it's
Nero
off the
throws it
screen.
in.
Yeah, as it's falling off the screen into the darkness, it starts beeping like it was like a teaser to
Yeah. From what I know, that was more, hey, they want to leave this as a thing for potential future stuff, but there is not actually a specific plan for what it was reacting to.
Yeah, there was like
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff where the lore and story teams will leave like little bits of things to be like, okay, if we ever want to develop further, here's something we can use and we can figure out what's going on with. And I'll talk a little bit more about that.
It was obviously Lava Bacon Scorpion.
Now, Final Fantasy III's Forbidden Land Eureka was filled with powerful arms, armor, and material that was considered too powerful for humans to wield. And the most powerful items required the player to defeat various Guardian bosses in order to prove themselves worthy. So we've again got a little bit of a parallel to what's going on here, both with the weapons that we have to undergo these various trials to forge, including getting those drops from the various most powerful monsters, as well as the items in the Baldesian arsenal, also sealed away, considered too powerful and too dangerous. Now, the Isle of Val itself is you've got a lot of callbacks to, depending on your translation, either the Castle of Val or Val Castle, depending on your translation, from Final Fantasy V. So Galifhalm Baldesian is the king of that castle, found in Final Fantasy V's second world. And as one of the 4 Warriors of the Dawn, he travels to the first world in response to the threat posed by the return of the Warlock Exdeath. A lot of locations on FF14's Isle of Val refer to the 4 Warriors of Dawn. Those were also recreated in 14 as those 4 young men that we see in echo flashbacks throughout the Eureka story. The Aura is Zazat Surgate, who Port Surgate, where we first arrive in Animos, is named for, as well as a later location, the Surgate Townhouse on one of the maps. Dorgan Klausser, that would be the one who is here wearing what looks like Furion's outfit, which Dorgan's outfit in FF5 looks fairly similar to. Klauser's Peace and Klauser's How are references to him as well. And in the Final Fantasy V story, he is Bart's father. Kelger Vlondet, that would be the one who is the Lupin, Wolfman type in Final Fantasy V. Vlondet's Retreat is a callback to. And then the last one, of course, being Galif Baldesion, who we do have identified by name. So yeah, we've got a mixture of Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy V references in there. A lot of those fun callbacks, which, given that we'd already established the Isle of Val, the students of Valdesian, ended up being a fun little way to tie that in. But the big thing, the thing that's the biggest problem and clusterfuck about this, is how all of this fits in on the timeline, on what we know has happened. This is something that, again, we discuss a fair bit on the Loremonger server. Anonymous has made extensive posts about this on the official forums, and we've discussed it in a lot of other spots. But in terms of the lore, Eureka is a tangled mess that contradicts what we know. And it's not the usual, oh, hey, perhaps we misunderstood how ether works, or oh, perhaps primals are summoned in a different way than we thought. This is like outright contradictions. So follow along with me. Patch 2.1. We lose contact with the Isle of Val. Menphina had been in contact with it, and the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, since a lot of them were Archons from Charlene, part of the Circle of Knowing, they had been in contact with this other Charlene institution. But end of patch 2.1, we lose contact with them. In patch 2.2, the Isle of Val is confirmed to be completely gone, wiped from the map. This is something where we have confirmation that it is just gone. At the time, it was seemed to be implied that this might have been attacked with something similar to Ultima, some type of huge magical whatever, and implied that Ascians were involved somehow. But we didn't know a lot of the details, just that these allies of ours had been taken out and that we are possibly in danger ourselves. Now that we know that it has been teleported, it's unclear whether the entire island was removed physically into the ethereal sea, kind of like when we were at the anti-tower and there was that whole ethereal sea below us, if it was just dropped physically into there, or whether it was reduced to ether like a typical teleport would have been. There seems to be some vague hinting that's a little bit closer to the former, where the entire island was brought physically into the ethereal sea. But whatever it is, at this point, Emerald is taking his one-way trip to oblivion, being buffeted by the sheer power of all that ether there. This is at the end of or at some point in 2.2. In 2.3, we have a cutaway where we watch a meeting of the Ascians. Emerald has a spoken line during this, and it appears to be the case that all of the Ascians are present. There are 14 chairs there, all of them are occupied. It's possible that we have some kind of hand wave explanation going on, like the fact that, oh hey, there's now multiple Ascians for the source, that Emmett Sulk had turned out to be one of them. So it's possible there's some kind of hand wave for this, but a lot of them just feel awkward and after the fact.
They're rosy or not.
Well, there was also discussion that these names are not actually the names of the Ascians, but they're their titles.
Right, that's one that's been suggested. And so, as I said, with these, it's possible that that's what's going on. It's dissatisfying for some reasons, but you could at least maybe hand wave it away like that.
But then we would have was there another La Habrea there?
There has not been another La Habrea so far as well.
There has only been one Lala bread.
And yes, there's La Habrea does seem to be gone, and it's like, okay, if that's the case, like, why haven't they replaced them? But we're coming to an even bigger problem, because in patch 2.5, we get attacked by Nabriales. We go to Chrysalis and we fight him and defeat him. When we come back, Moonbrita sacrifices her life to permanently destroy him, dispersing his ether. And the other Ascians react to this with alarm. They seem shocked at the idea that they could somehow be permanently destroyed. And the reaction seems to indicate that a destruction of an Ascian of their rank was impossible. Not something they ever thought was possible for now. But according to the timeline that Eureka has just given us, 3 patches earlier, Emerald got destroyed in the Ethereal Sea. Also, good job on Gala for figuring out how to do that, but does that kind of cheapen Moonbrita's sacrifice in terms of her being the one to figure this out and do this really heroic thing? Like, in retrospect, does that cheapen it? It leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth, and...
Well, you gotta remember, the only way I feel that it might work is the fact that if it was done but in the live stream, maybe the Asians just didn't know how he died.
But they would have known that he was gone. Like, he's not responding to texts or whatever the equivalent is.
Well, the thing is, the whole live stream disappeared, so...
Sure, but I mean...
Well,
I
the
mean,
live stream
whole
didn't disappear, just
well,
the
live
island.
stream, but the whole island disappeared.
But they, however it is that they remain in contact, follow up. Like, if the island has disappeared and they can't get a hold of Emerald Wolf, if he's not reporting in, if however they usually keep in contact with each other isn't working, like, they're going to have a glimmering that something's gone wrong.
Yeah, but at the same time, they might have not... as much as they knew he died, they might have known he died somehow, but they just didn't expect mortals to work out how to do it.
Like, if you go back and look at the lines, they seem genuinely surprised that they can die. Not that mortals can work it out, but that they can die.
Right.
Like, and no, as a player, and like knowing a lot of stuff, we know a bit about the design process. Eureka was created as a, hey, we want to have this thing, this like area to explore. This reference to the classic Final Fantasy III thing, and the Isle of Val disappearing and becoming part of that was not what was originally intended. It was more, it's like, oh, hey, we have this loose end, this thing that we didn't do anything with, that we didn't have these details about. We could totally work it in there. It was a decision that was made to throw it in after the fact, rather than something that was planned all along. That is the nature of a lot of the design stuff here. They go for it based on rule of cool and what would be kind of neat and interesting. And most of the time, if you're leaving enough stuff undefined, you can fill in details, hand wave some stuff, or change other elements afterwards to make it so it all works out. And this is one of the instances where it just doesn't, unless you go back and outright change some of the stuff.
You need some retconning here.
Yep. We often use the term of additive or subtractive retcons. Additive ones are ones where, like, we add more to our understanding. And those are ones that players are more willing to accept. If we like, oh, when Tsukuyomi is summoned from this artifact. It's like, we're adding in that's like, yes, primals work this way, but they can also work like this, and there's more depth and interesting stuff to hold. A subtractive recon is something where you're taking stuff out, where you're changing things, where you're deleting information that we had before. You're not adding to our knowledge, you're deleting facts that we have.
Yeah.
And those are way less satisfying. They feel way more cheap. And I don't know if they have a satisfying way out of this that doesn't involve a subtractive retcon. Usually, like, they are pretty good. I feel like they've just gotten painted into a corner on this one. And it sucks a little bit seeing how good they have been on the other things, but we don't just have unexplained stuff. We have what appear to be direct contradictions.
Nobody paints Seyrr into a corner.
So, yeah. Like, there was definitely some stuff about Eureka that feels a little bit like, let's get all the cool, fun toys out of the toy chest and play with them. And for a game, that's fun. Like, you can have this epic, exciting stuff. But in terms of trying to make it into a cohesive thing that feels like a real world, you lose a little bit of that, and that's a little bit disappointing.
Well, it is what it is, but...
Oh, it is. And I can still be a little disappointed.
Oh, yeah. And I absolutely understand. But like I said,
Yeah.
you know, it was still, I think overall, it was a fun addition.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
And like I said, things may not fully line up. I'm sure they'll come up with a way to make it work somehow.
Yeah, or they may just hand wave it off.
They'll rename Emerald to one of the other Asians instead.
But I mean, if they do that, then that's, again, you've got like a retcon where you're actually changing stuff.
Yeah.
So that's less satisfying.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it turns out that it's like, oh, this is just a thing where it gets contained to this. And then I'm thinking about Crystal Tower and how that felt like its own self-contained thing. It's like, okay, we've sealed Grahatia in the thing and he's going to go to sleep. And that's the end of that story. And now all of a sudden he's back.
Or is he?
I mean, there is very strong reason to believe that, yes, it's him. I'm not going to go into a lot of specifics on that, but I would put money on it. Like, I would willingly put money on it at this point.
Did I tell you my theory on what's going to what I feel like the Crystal Tower is doing on the first?
There have been some flying around. I'd love to hear your guesses on that.
I'm not exactly. My theory isn't how it was made, but what it's being used for.
Okay.
I feel like the reason why most of the towns and the cities are being built around the Crystal Tower
Mm-hmm.
is that someone has reprogrammed it to absorb the light, so that's slowing down the progression of how far the light is pushing in.
Or
It's not being able to absorb all of it because of how much has been generated, but it's keeping some civilizations safe by using it as as
Right.
a generator.
It doesn't even have to necessarily be an intentional thing. It could just be a natural property of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the one on the source was a giant control tower for a floating planet, basically.
Well, no, it was
Control
the-
tower and receiving tower.
Yeah, for an energy
Yeah.
moon. Whereas this is now actually it has the energy properties of its own. It's absorbing from the atmosphere.
Yeah, from the light to try, which is what's slowing it down from being pushed too far. It's still moving forward.
It is interesting that it seems like, okay, the encroaching light, it's kind of like, this is the last space it's advancing on. Like, it's been Mordona or Lakeland or whatever we want to call it, is kind of this really central point, really rich in ether. This spot that's kind of important.
Especially the lake is called the Source as well.
Yeah, oh god, that's going to be another thing where it's like, okay, I understand why the people in the world would call that, but it's like the void. Where it's like, oh my god, everyone's using this term to refer to different things, and there's going to be so much confusion.
But yeah, that's my theory on the Crystal Tower.
Yeah. I will add it to the pile. There's a pile.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Seyrr?
Oh, nothing that I can think of at the moment, though, as always, if people have questions, follow-ups, stuff like that. As a side note, for the next lore segment, I would actually like to go back and look a bit more at the Crystal Tower. Again, given that we're coming up to Shadowbringers, I feel like it'll be useful to do some more review sessions. But if there's other topics that people would like to know more about, especially if people have review session ideas that they were going to be useful for them coming up to Shadowbringers, definitely contact us through a number of means that I'm sure Klauss will detail. I always like to hear back what you're getting out of it and what you want to know.
Probably the easiest one is going to be our Discord server. We actually have a Lorebrarians channel that you can use to check that out. So I put a link to the Discord channel in the Twitch chat for you guys.
No question is too ridiculous.
Unless they're too ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, but besides
Those ones I will answer.
No, you will ask
Oh,
most
dear.
of those.
All the answers will be Lava Scorpion.
it's probably canon, featuring Chille.
It might be canon.
Or shot from a cannon.
Shot from a cannon, and you're to blame.
Anyway.
You give lore a bad name.
Bad name.
Oh, I feel proud of that.
So we got a new iTunes review from our
Yay.
good friend Kane Thorbreaker. He says, I love these guys. Klauss is an amazing guy. Just met him at Anime Detour. Fantastic human being. Luna, we love you. You're great. We missed you all these months. It's not the same without you. Seyrr, your lore segments are what hooked me, and your fabulous banter with Klauss is love. Chille, what can I say about Chille? Except get some sleep, man. I mean, how many
Seriously,
podcasts
dude.
does this man do? 5, 10, 50? Sleep, man, sleep. But really
Average 4.
But really love you and the work you do since the beginning. 10 out of 10 would listen again.
Yay.
So thank
Phoenix
you.
Down Radio endorses getting regular sleep.
Also, Phoenix Down Radio endorses leaving a rating or review out on the various podcatchers so we can read them on the air.
We will use our words to say your words.
Yes, exactly.
Chille, just how much sleep have you had? Because I feel like you thought that was profound, but it was a thing.
For Chille, that is profound.
Oh,
I'd go with about 4 hours.
It is
Last
profoundly
night.
chilly. Well, then, I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. if you liked what you heard, as I said earlier, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or this new one I found called Podcoin, where you can actually earn currency listening to podcasts.
That's
and
pretty
for the
cool.
next week,
Oh my gosh, is this like a cryptocurrency now?
no, it's not. You can use
Okay.
it. You use it. You gain them, and then you can turn them in for like gift cards and stuff like that.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, so this is going to be useful.
Yeah, and for right now, actually, Phoenix on Radio is one of the highlighted podcasts, so you can actually earn 1.5 times the currency by listening to us.
Neat.
That's cool.
So you go out to podcoin.com, and you can download it for Apple and Android devices.
Podcoin.com.
Something like that. And if possible, leave us a rating or review. It definitely helps other people find us and lets us know what we're doing right. So we appreciate that, guys. Thank you. And if you really dig the show, you can consider becoming a patron like our friend Aurori Fenrir out at our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio. Or you can help us hit our goal of 50 sub points here on Twitch by subscribing to us with either your hard-earned money or your free Twitch Prime subscription. Any type of support like that helps us to grow the show, helps us do these really cool giveaways, and have a lot of fun with the show. But whatever kind of support you give us, whether it's likes, retweets, follows, all that stuff, that's what we really appreciate, because we just love working with you guys. We love hearing what you guys have to say, and we love interacting with you in general. So if you want to check out our all of our podcasts, including our backlog and a few articles as well, you can check out our website, phoenixdownradio.com. If you have questions or want to submit something for an upcoming lore segment, you can email it to us, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. And we are out on Twitter at PHXDNRadio. So let's do some shout-outs. Who wants to start? I think Seyrr should go first.
All right. Shout out to who else? I haven't been in game as shout out to my friend Richard, who invited me over to help weed his bookcase in anticipation of his move. Turned out to be a really fun time, and he took me out to a Greek restaurant for lunch after, which was great.
What'd you get?
Huh?
What'd you get?
Oh, so I got a salmon pita, and we also got an appetizer of like a thing of 4 different dips with pita bread. There was this one that was based on Kalamata olives. It was just incredible.
Cool. Did you get any cool books out of it too?
Yeah, actually a couple. A few C.S. Lewis pieces I've been meaning to read, something on the history of California, and a couple random sci-fi novels.
Neat.
Oh, and that one on the history of tea. I'm looking. A shout out to the good people at the Crucible, who endure a lot of shit posting from and respond in kind. Shout out to my co-hosts, Klauss, Chille. You're both great. Shout out to all of our past co-hosts as well. And to all the people listening, the ones who are always asking those questions, making me think, and just sharing in the fun with us. You make it all worthwhile. I love you. In like whatever sense you want. Not that, Kane. You just know Kane's going to take that somewhere bad.
And how can they get a hold of you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at FFXIVSEYRR. I mostly post random cool stuff that I was cooking with my friends or interesting things I found at the library. Ostensibly, there's a way for them to email me through Phoenix Down Radio, but I never wrote.
I believe it's just Seyrr@phoenixdownradio.com.
Yes, Seyrr@phoenixdownradio.com. That sounds plausible.
It might be FFXIV_Seyrr. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, we should probably find out.
I sent it to you, so.
Yeah, like you could tell how often I use it.
Yeah.
Or you can just at me on our Discord channel. I monitor that a fair bit. I respond to lots and lots of stuff there.
Excellent. Chille.
Hello. You can shout outs to Maelstrom Radio. Go check them out. Twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. Also go check out MaelstromRadio.com. A shout out to She Hills I Tank. Twitch.tv/She Hills I Tank. They're taking a break next week because they're going on vacation.
How dare they?
So, they deserve it.
I demand content
on a cruise.
on a regular basis. And ships have Wi-Fi.
fine, but enjoy your romantic cruise. You deserve it.
I'm kidding. You absolutely do deserve it. Enjoy your time.
Also, well, they had me on a week ago, so they need the break. So
that's why we only go every other week.
Yeah. Also, go check out Moogle Go Around Radio, where we talk about things. We've got Taru TV on next week as a special guest. He talks about PvP a lot in his YouTube channel, so
what's that?
Go check out. Yeah. So yeah, go check out his PvP content. Dynamic Taru on Twitter. So you can find me at mgr_chille on Twitter. ben.shillebearhall@psu.com. I talk a lot. And I recently broke 1,700 followers. Yay.
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 Thanks,
Meoni.
Should tell some of your followers to come follow me. at PHXDN_KLAUSS. And shout outs to you guys for being amazing. Seyrr for putting in a lot of work today to get through all of that Eureka content. Hope you had a fun time with it.
It was fun. The only thing, I wish I had started earlier just because I kept being like, oh, I want to settle in and watch this bit. Oh, geez, hour and a half left. Okay, jump ahead 5 seconds. Jump ahead 5 seconds. Good, I haven't missed any text. Jump ahead 5 seconds.
There actually is a setting where you can double the speed.
Yeah, I should probably just do that next time.
Just so you know, it's kind of interesting to listen to music at double speed.
I could see that. So yes, had a lot of fun with it. Would have been more fun if I had good work habits. I keep telling myself I should work on that, but then I don't, so... Oh, well.
Yeah. Shout out, and Chille, again, amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to the Baked Chocobo Nights Crossworld Link Shell, run by our friend Brock Effin Sampson. I've been spending a lot of time with them on streams. We've been doing a lot of bird farms, having a lot of fun. Shout out to Yelta and Ruby at Gather Together, gtffxiv.com. They're a part of that link shell as well, and we've been hanging out with talking with them. It's been a really good time, so a lot of good fun. And yeah, like I said, you can follow me on Twitter at PHXDN_KLAUSS. So that's going to do it for my co-hosts, Chille, and for Seyrr. I am Klauss Neppinger, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you again for joining us, and take care.
Praise Lava Scorpion.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.